Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. Who's ready? Who is ready to have some Daily Dish time? And who's in the house? That's what I want to know. There's our Autumn, and there's our Alice. There's Helen and Jocelyn. Goodness gracious. Welcome, everybody. I'm so glad you're here. I'm excited about today's show because I hope you appreciate this one, Alice. Your post is what brought on today's show. So I appreciate you in more ways than you know because, and I'm gonna call out Alice right now because her growth and her and just the way she is and the way she and what she's becoming and all the things is it just left me a little bit slack-jawed, to say the very least, in the best possible way. In other words, I'm very proud of you, Alice. Super proud of you. So we can learn from each other if we're open to it. Isn't that the truth? Who's open to learning from each other? Pinkies up. I certainly am. I think that's the way to go. I see Jackie, I see Catherine and Jane, and Linda's in the house. Lizzie, you too. Good to have you here. Helen, I think I already said hello to you. Deborah's here. Man, I missed you, Deborah. Kathy McGuire, where have you been? It's been a minute. So glad to have you here. All right, so pinkies up. If you're willing to learn, you've got those pinkies sky high right now. You know, the willingness to learn is everything. Because what? Sorry, what? Don't say sorry. Just say, I'm glad you're here. I wasn't disappointed at all, Alice. I was proud of you. Absolutely. Of course not. Would I ever be disappointed in any of you? Of course not. Am I going to, if I see something that, I'm never going to be quiet and just hope that, figure it out. I am going to call you on stuff. Sure. It's because I love you. I'm glad you're here too, Kathy. Diane, good to have you here. Those of you who are hashtagging Hot Melt 30, yes, ma'am. Good to have you here. Jeanette, I see you also. Really good to be here. Yeah, no, I don't get disappointed with people as much as I say, hey, I see this and I love you, and therefore I'm going to say something about it, right? It's just the way life is. And when we are brave enough to do that, our courage comes to the core, to the center of us, and it helps us to live a more authentic life. It helps us to become more of who we're meant to be. We're not meant to shut up and put up, but on the other hand, we're also not meant to be harsh and overbearing and be bulldozers in everybody's life. We can love one another, and we can also gently correct. We can also say, hey, have you considered this for a minute? That kind of thing. So anyway, Alice, I'm not disappointed in you ever. All right. Our special of the week is pretty darn good. I don't know if you've seen this, but this is the Buttery Body Balm. As a matter of fact, our own Amber said, oh my gosh, I'm going to stock up on this stuff because it saved my skin during the harsh, dry winter. That's because it is chock full of all kinds of different types of castor oil, using castor oil, castor jelly, and it has a little bit of cinnamon in it. It has some coconut oil in it, lavender oil, vitamin E. This stuff is amazing. What I do when I get out of the shower is dry my skin. And while my skin is still damp, I slather this stuff on. It goes deep and it makes your skin just soft and supple. And you know how sometimes lotions, you put a lotion on and it seems like that for a while, and then a half hour later, you're going crunchy. Not this. You will love this stuff. Our Buttery Balm is buy one, get one free. Buy one, get one free. That's a screaming hot deal. You don't need to use a ton of this stuff. And believe me, when you look at this, you're going, that's such a small container. It's 8 ounces. It's heavy. It is heavy. Buy one, get one free. savingdinner.com/BOGO. So go get it. It's only while supplies last too, by the way. That's, you know how things are with that. So that's that. I want to tell you about that. Also, I wanted to tell you about the Hot Melt 30. You can jump in right now. Oh, yes, you can, because we're not perfectionists, are we? We are always seeking excellence. And if you're thinking, I just need to wait until the next Hot Melt 30 comes along, we're only 6 days in, right? 7 days? 7 days in. So what? So what? Wouldn't you rather get 3 more weeks in of doing something well than to skip it because you're too much of a perfectionist because you didn't start at the beginning? Come on. Go to savingdinner.com/30, THIRTY, and get your Hot Melt 30 guide right now. You can get started. It's never too late, ever. Secondarily, I do want to tell you about, what else do we have? Oh, our Crush Your Limiting Beliefs. We still have a couple of spots left. I can't even believe that. And I can't believe that I didn't bring the workbook to show you. They've all been shipped. But we do have a few left and a few spaces left. If you've found that there's something holding you back, if there's something that has been like hanging in the back of your head and you're going, what is this? It's probably a limiting belief. They sneak into our being, don't they? Hey, Noreen, I'm glad you're here. Anyway, you can find out all about this course. It is going to be a doozy. We've got some great women there. We do hot seats. You have a one-on-one with me, all kinds of stuff. It's juicy. It's hot. You can find all the information out at savingdinner.com/no limits. And speaking of no limits, who's ready to hear what the theme is for this year's Full Bloom in person? First of all, the dates are July 21 through the 23rd. That's Friday, Saturday, and a Sunday. You are going to be on the good ship Wanda for the cocktail cruise into the evening, and you'll be having hors d'oeuvres and wine and all kinds of stuff. You will not be feeding yourself at all this weekend. I'll be taking care of that. We start Saturday morning off with Target Trifecta smoothies. What else, right? We get those smoothies going. We have you take your supplements and I take my supplements with mine. And there's coffee and there's women that you love that are there. And then we're going to have an incredible lunch. Caroline's going to be here. She's going to be doing our lunches. You know how she is. She's just amazing. And then Chef Mark is going to be making an incredible dinner. We'll probably have steak again. And there'll be wine. There'll be everything. You just can't believe it. It's just going to be a fabulous thing. And a drop-in brunch on Sunday. That's the food portion. And then there's the learning and the hands-on and being together and discussing things and just melding together. savingdinner.com/bloom. That's where you can go and get your ticket right now. Limited amounts of tickets. I can only handle so many people. You will be coming to my personal house, my home. I will invite you in and greet you with a hug. You know me. And be so excited to see you. Gosh, just the idea of you coming here, just the cockles of my heart just jump. Anyway, you would fly into Asheville Airport or Charlotte Airport in North Carolina, one of those two. And I will tell you, there's just nothing like it. Jenny will be here. I don't think our Amber will be here this time, but Jenny will be here. So you'll get a chance to meet our Jenny. And of course, you'll meet Mark, you'll meet Caroline, you'll see me. Come on, let's do this. So you'll want to be here for Friday night. And if you have the time, we will want to have you here for Sunday. It'll be a drop-in brunch. And I'm telling you, drop-in brunch. Come on, who doesn't love a drop-in brunch? Mark goes all out, bacon, eggs, all this other stuff. We will have you here until about, about 11:30 or whatever. We'll start at like around 9, 11:30, and then we're going to kick you out because we're going to be done. It'll all be done, but you just please go look at it. And the theme this year is more than enough. Living a life of full abundance. That's what the theme is this year. And I am, you know where I got that? Because I'm the one who comes up with the themes. It came out of my journal. It came out of my journal. Y'all keep a journal. This journal just spoke to me. It jumped out of the page and said, this is what you're going to do this year. I'm so excited about it because it's just really, this is from my heart, this stuff. And I can't stress this enough. And yeah, we do have, if you need a payment plan, we've got that as well. We always take care of our people. That's how we roll. And I will say secondarily, if you attended last year, either virtually or in person, watch your email because we have something special just for you. Okay? I'm just saying, because we love you. I want to make sure that I want you coming back and I want you here. I want a hug on your neck. That's what I want to do. Do you know that, oh, it's going to be good, Jackie. I want you to be here. It would be so great. And Mother Hen can be here too. Tell her, because she's got a wedding the week before. We moved it up a week. I had a tournament that I had already signed up for. I got the reminder in the mail. I was like, whoa, they're saying, where's your payment? I was like, oh, shoot. Yeah, I better do that because I have people depending on me. Our gratitude journal is still available, savingdinner.com/grateful. Those are going to be in this week. So this is the second batch that we're sending out. Don't forget that all orders over $300 now, guess what happens with those? They're sent to you absolutely free. The shipping's on us. That's what we do. As long as it's the lower 48, that's just how that works. And our quote of the week. It couldn't be the most perfect quote. Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. Who knows that? Who knows that all, with their whole being, that is the truth? Give me some pinkies. I know that to be everything. You know why it's everything? I'm going to tell you. Because without gratitude, you cannot see the goodness that is yours in your life. You'll never grasp it. You'll never understand it. You'll never put your arms around it, and you won't move to the next level that you want to live. The vibrancy just won't show up. Gratitude makes everything happen, and it creates your vision for what you want for tomorrow. Oh, isn't that beautiful? That'll work. Get your gratitude journal. You'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so today we're going to talk about some mistakes because here we are, right? Here we are in, the middle of or the beginning of the Hot Melt 30. And we had a lovely in our Hot Melt Sprint group who posted about a big oopsie that she had. She didn't do what she wanted to do. And so here's the thing. And I saw a lot of people, oh, don't worry about it. Just move on and this, that, and the other thing. And when I see that, it's a cringeworthy moment for me. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. And this is one of the things that we're going to be talking about. And I kind of titled, you'll see it tomorrow in the show notes. This is called Oops, I Did It Again, kind of a little holla back to Britney Spears. But if we understand that our mistakes are learning opportunities, and then we jump into what can I learn from this, then we have the best possible chance of putting this into the experience file to draw from later, as opposed to dismissing it and living it all over again, because that's what keeps us on this continuous loop, okay? And we have to talk about that because we risk repeating history when we do one of two things. If we overly emote and feel really bad and put ourselves down and just have a complete meltdown and kick ourselves and beat ourselves up and just are horrible to ourselves, that's not going to help us out. On the converse side, if we say, oh, I did it and I'm going to come back, I'm going to fix it all up and, blah, 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 I'm just whatever. That's also dismissive. Both of those things are kind of dismissive because it isn't confronting nor dealing with what just happened. You ready to unpack this a little bit? Is my Alice still here? I hope so. Because I do love you, Alice. We risk repeating the same oopsie, which can inhibit our progress in anything. And so we're going to be talking about the Hot Melt 30, and bring in these 5 principles of how we can effectively learn from our mistakes and then effectively move on so that we're in this place of continually learning, growing, evolving, going the next level up, and becoming vibrant. Because this is the school of hard knocks, isn't it? It is. It's tough. It's never easy, is it? No, it's not. So number one thing that we always have to, every single person on this planet needs to do when we make a mistake, when we goof up, when we, go to Muffin Lane, or somebody brings something into the workplace, and there you are confronted with the donut guy, and you're thinking, no, I'm not going to do. I'm hot melt 30, but boy, don't those look. They're calling to me. And we start to obsess about what these inanimate objects, by the way, are doing. They're not alive. They don't have lips. They don't have ears, and they do not have voices. And when we assign that to them, we give them a whole heck of a lot more power than they really have. We're talking about flour and sugar here, okay? Flour and sugar is just flour and sugar, and probably a bunch of hydrogenated, oils and other kinds of crap that's just not going to help you out. So don't give that thing any more power than you did. I had that revelation when I was stuffing my face full of chocolate peanut M&Ms. And I recognized that I gave all of my power to those M&Ms, thinking I couldn't say no to them. Well, of course I can. I just said that the power of the M&Ms was more than my own power. And that's garbage. So we have to recognize who's got the power, who holds the power in her hands, and how's she going to use it. I have the power. I am the powerful one. I am the one who can see, know, and do whatever the heck that I want to do. It's up to me. Those peanut M&Ms don't hold power over me ever. Nothing does. No piece of food does. It doesn't have that unless you give it to them. You abdicate your power to some food, and then whoops, here we go. That, talk about pain. That's painful. It's painful in more than one way, not just in giving in, but it's also painful in the fact that we lose our sovereignty over ourselves. That's another source of pain. So somebody was talking about the siren's call for something. I don't know. I don't even remember who it was. What siren's call? There's no siren's call. There's only a siren's call because you say there is. There's none. So number one, start here. This food has no power. I have the power. Amen? That's where we need to start. And then number two is we have to start reflecting. What just happened here, right? Because everyone has done this. I've done it. You've done it. We've all done it. And probably multiple times. So if we're going to learn from this, we have to first stop and say, okay, what just happened? It's assessment time. And we need to reflect on the entire event. What happened? What did I do? What could I have done different? Well, that's different. We'll talk about that down the road. But first of all, we have to replay the event in our minds. How did this happen? How did those peanut M&Ms end up in the front seat of my car? Or those muffins on my table? Or the donuts that were in the workroom, the kitchen at my work, end up on my desk? How did all of that happen? We have to look at that. And we have to then also consider the alternative courses of actions that we could have taken. Instead of doing this, I could have done this, that, and the other thing. I could have said, no, thank you. I appreciate that. I could have if I saw those donuts, I could have turned around and walked out. Whatever it is. Now, this is a form of metacognition. In other words, we think about our thinking. When we're thinking about our thinking, that's a crucial part of learning, and it's also a crucial part of decision making when we sit there. There was a journal published called Psychological Science, and it said metacognitive cognitive activities like reflection help to solidify learning and improve future performance, right? Of course, of course, of course, because we've thought through it. We've sat with it a little bit. Number 2 is acceptance and emotional regulation. Now, this is a big deal because when we acknowledge and accept our mistakes, as our lovely poster did, she did. She spilled the tea. She gave you all the 411 on exactly what went down. Like, this is what it was, this is what it is. And then we manage the negative emotions that come with them. We have to, because the negative emotions are going to be coming with them. And when I said this, when I said this to our lovely poster, that you broke a promise to yourself, it wasn't so I could shame her. It was so that I could get her to see how deep this goes. It's not just a muffin mishap or a peanut M&M, occasion. It is a broken promise to ourselves. It's a ding in our integrity, and it hurts. We've got to allow that to feel that hurt. That's not beating yourself up. That's acknowledging what went down. A huge difference, a huge difference. And when we dismiss it and say, oh, everybody does it, don't worry about it, just dust yourself off and move on. No, no, no. Stop, reflect, and start looking at accepting, you know what, I made a big mistake here. That's accepting responsibility for yourself. And then you can emotionally regulate what exactly is going on. It doesn't require self-flagellation, okay? Of course not. But you know what it does require? It requires that we take a look at what happened. It also helps us because we can get very, very defensive and just say, well, it's just, I'm under a lot of stress, blah, blah, blah. That's dismissive. Or if we get overly upset about it and what have you, that is also dismissive because it doesn't deal with it, right? It's just an emotional blah, 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 blah. So this emotional regulation that I'm talking about, that's all backed by neuroscience. As a matter of fact, a study published called Nature Neuroscience says that negative emotions can narrow our focus, limit our ability to think creatively and problem solve. And that inhibits our learning process. That's what happens here. And that's why I say sit with it. Sit with it, evaluate it, assess it, analyze it. Go real honest with how it is that you felt. Go really honest with what happened. That's what our poster did, by the way. She did. Totally honest with it. And then number 3 is to allow for feedback, right? And constructive criticism. And feedback and constructive criticism is everything, because the feedback is, and you can say, yeah, sister to sister, I've done that too. I've done that too. I know how you feel, right? We can do that kind of thing. It helps. But also allow for some constructive criticism. That's what mine was. Mine was not about, let's shame this woman. Mine was, let's come alongside here and let's take a look at what happened. When we can look at what happened, then we can take responsibility for it, and we can get to the place of not repeating this same thing again, and instead having the ability to put this experience into the experience file. We don't need all the other garbage, we don't, because all that is just a litter. It's just clutter everywhere, and it's messing up what it is that we're trying to achieve. So we just need a perspective sometimes, and we need to be able to understand the mistake a little bit more objectively. We understand our mistakes subjectively. We're the ones who made it. And sometimes we don't look at all the stuff. Sometimes there's parts of it we don't want to look at. I understand that completely. But if we look at it all, this is what a Harvard Business School paper demonstrates, that individuals who ask for and open to feedback significantly improve their performance over time. And what is this? It is all a performance, y'all. How am I going to perform today? How am I going to show up? Am I going to be planned? Am I going to be ready? Am I going to be in a hurry? Am I going to be dismissive? What am I going to do? Are my meals planned out? Do I have my hydration station situated? What time am I going to be working out? Is that on my calendar? How is this whole thing? I'm using the Hot Melt 30, obviously, for this kind of thing because this is the requirement. This is what it is. Number 4, though, is a growth mindset. And you know Carol Dweck, and, of course, we have this. Well, I wrote this one out. And that is the fixed versus the growth mindset. You've seen me, I've done that one. But we have that chart as well. And hopefully we can share that with you. But this growth mindset is the mindset that we need to embrace, because a growth mindset is the one that puts us into the driver's seat and that gives us the control and the power back. So we have to understand that when we cultivate this growth mindset, we believe that our abilities and our intelligence can be developed through dedication and a little hard work, a little elbow grease. Here's the research this is Stanford psychologist Carol Dweck, and she wrote a great book. I think it was called Growth Mindset, or Mindset. I can't remember the name of the book. It's a book. Great book, though. And what she says is that a growth mindset fosters a passion for learning and resilience. And what is resilience? Except that it's this thing that helps you to accomplish what it is that you want. It gives you grit, not quit. Now, here's the thing. The muffin mishap she could have been quiet about this whole thing and just bowed out in an Irish goodbye, and that was it. She could have. And a lot of people do, believe me, a lot of people do. And you'll notice this. As time goes on, they're going to start dropping like flies. Not able to stay the course because one little screw up or whatever just completely derailed them. If it's not perfect, we're not going to do it at all. That's a lot of different folks will do this. How about instead, we back away from it and say a growth mindset would say, you know what? And pull my big girl panties up and I'm going to go back at it tomorrow and I'm going to do it with my whole heart. I'm going to learn something from this big muffin mishap. I'm going to learn something from all those stupid chocolate peanut M&Ms. I'm going to learn something from this and I'm going to take that lesson. I'm going to apply it and I'm going to create for myself a new paradigm, because excellence is the way. It's always the way. Excellence will lead you every single time. Perfection will snuff you out and take away all that work that you have done and dismiss you as if none of it mattered because of that one mistake. Simply not true. Simply not true. So when you have a growth mindset, you'll see mistakes as opportunities to learn rather than an indication that you're a failure, because you're not. We're humans that make mistakes, and turn this into an affirmation. I have a growth mindset. I am learning from this. I am becoming the best that I can possibly be. Today is a new day. I get to do this with my whole heart. Yeah, you do. And when we start seeing ourselves from that perspective, we understand that we're here on purpose and for purpose, don't we? We understand that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. We are not biological mistakes. We're here on purpose and for purpose every single day and every single time. And this is the needle mover. Because when we have this and when we start using these things as an affirmation, we build ourselves up. We gird ourselves up with strength and truth. Because this is inside of me and it's inside of you. We all have grit and not quit if we choose to call on it. It's in you. Number 5 is implementation, intentions, and goal setting. What? Well, when you learn from your mistake, now you get to sit down with the list and say, what could I do differently? Not just some, next time I'll do this and next time I'll do that, but actually sit down and think through in your journal. That's what I do. Grab your journal and go through this whole thing and say, okay, what can I do instead? What opportunities are there for me to learn from? What things can I do? Okay, here comes Mr. Muffin Man with the muffins. No, thank you. I don't want those in my house. Oh, bless you for bringing those. You know what? I'm going to put those in the freezer for when my grandson visits. or, whatever. I'm allergic, or, not the chocolate muffins, or I don't know. You do your own thing. But when we do this, we can learn from the mistake. We can set goals on how we want to handle these situations, because it's not going to be there's going to be somebody else with muffins or peanut M&Ms or fill in the blanks. Somebody's going to have something else. Here's what Peter Gollwitzer said. He calls them implementation intentions, specific plans about when, where, and how you'll act, because this increases the chances and the likelihood that you are going to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. And what is the Hot Melt 30? We have a goal to get through the Hot Melt 30, not to just get through it, not to white knuckle it, but to get through it, to learn the lessons. What is Hot Melt 30 anyway? There's lessons there. There are lessons there. This is what happens when you implement these lessons with this self-care, with understanding that you have the ability and the privilege of nurturing yourself every single day, heart, mind, body, and soul. And yes, Nancy, be prepared. Be prepared. So when we employ these principles, we are going to gain such value, aren't we? Of course we are. We're going to learn such a tremendous lesson, and we remove ourselves and opt out of the negative loop of doing this over and over and over again. These kinds of things are stepping stones, not albatrosses around our necks, stepping stones, but only when we accept responsibility for it, when we assess it and analyze it. Don't dismiss it. Embrace it. Give me the lesson. I want the lesson so that I can move forward. You right? You get that? I'll tell you what, changed my entire life. Changed my entire life. And I will tell you, it will change yours too. And all of you who are here, who are listening to me, you do not have the option of giving me an Irish goodbye. I will hunt you down. I will find you. Stay with this, because excellence is the only siren's call that I want you to hear. Amen. Amen. That's what we have for you today. You wise women, you. I love that you joined me, by the way. I love that you're all here, and I love that you show up. It just makes my day. Thank you so much for that. Thursday, we're going to be thirsty. Are you going to be here? I sure hope so. All right. Pinkies up, and peace be with you. I'll see you Thursday. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.